Good morning, everybody. Calling the meeting to order and doing a roll call. Will the commissioners who are here please state their names?
Darcy Rourke.
Barbara Baskerville, and we can't see your smiling face, Adam.
Oh, thank you. All right, let me fix that. Hold on a second. That's better.
Oh, much better. Thank you.
All right, so let's go right into our open public comment period. We've got 3 minutes. If anyone is at the meeting on Zoom, wants to comment, please let us know now.
Nobody is in the hearing room who wishes to comment. Let me check online. And nobody is raising their hands online either.
All right, no public comments today. So we can then move into the review of submitted complaints. We've got 3 different matters we're going to review today. So we'll now go into executive session under RCW 43.30.1101F.
Excuse me, Adam. We haven't approved the minutes from last.
Oh, sorry. Did I? Okay, I missed something. All right, let's go backwards. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes?
I did.
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve them?
So
I
moved.
moved it. Second.
Each a dark.
All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the last meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. And now we can go into our executive session, but I don't think 10 minutes is going to be enough. Can we say, what, 20 minutes?
At the least.
I would agree.
Maybe more? Should we go 30?
Yeah.
I think 30 would be probably needed.
Okay, so we'll go into executive session for 30 minutes and then we'll come back here to discuss the complaints.
Okay. See you.
All good? All right, see you all on the other side.
Oh, Rebecca, I have to get into another one, right?
Yes, and I think you have the link in your email for the
Okay.
executive session.
I'll go back.
So you
And
close
before
out of
you-
this one.
And before you leave, Chair, if you could please state the specific time in which you'll come back to this session for the record, please.
Okay, so we're leaving, let's say we will come back at 11:35. Okay. Okay, we're back from executive session. We considered 3 matters today. The first one is complaint number 2024-06. And that complaint, an investigation has been completed. And we, as the commission, decided that we needed time to review the investigation report. So we're going to continue that complaint until our next meeting. All right, moving on then.
Pardon me, Mr. Chair, I think, want to take a motion to continue that and vote on that.
Okay. Is there a motion to continue the hearing on complaint 2024-06?
So
I
moved.
would, go ahead.
So moved.
A second.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. We've unanimously decided to continue that matter to our next meeting. So we'll move on then to considering complaint number 2024-11. So in this complaint, this was filed by Rodney Harvey regarding Deputy Fire Marshal Senior Jason Noble. The complaint alleges that Fire Marshal Noble violated Clark County Human Resources Policy 13.0 by using his county position to seek and receive free access to special areas at a Ridgefield Amphitheater event for himself and his friends and his family. So as we've mentioned before, we determined one of two things during our initial review of an ethics complaint, either that the allegations in the complaint do not constitute an ethics violation, or that there is sufficient cause to warrant an investigation. And we've previously observed that sufficient cause for us exists when a reasonable person with knowledge of all the facts set forth in the complaint would conclude that the complaint describes conduct that may violate one or more ethical rules. As a reminder, the ethical rules that we consider are those adopted in the Clark County Code, section 2.07.010. That is specifically Title 42 of the Revised Code of Washington and Clark County Human Resources Policy 13.1. Those are both readily available online, including on the Commission's webpage. So for me, as I reviewed this, I looked at Human Resources Policy 13.1 subsection 2, which prohibits county employees from soliciting or accepting any benefit, profit, or advantage from or by reason of their responsibilities and duties as a county employee. It also prohibits county employees from using county positions to secure special privileges or exemptions for themselves or others, and from acting on the basis of any personal or non-job related interest, financial or otherwise. For me, if the allegations in this complaint are true, then a reasonable person with knowledge of all these facts would conclude that Mr. Noble's conduct may violate Human Resources Policy 13.1 subsection 2. So I'll vote on this one that there is sufficient cause to warrant an investigation. Do either of the other commissioners want to discuss this complaint?
No, I have no further discussion on this.
No further discussion.
All right, is there a motion for how we ought to rule?
Yeah, yes, I would move that there is sufficient cause to warrant an investigation.
Second.
All right, those in favor of the motion to move this one on to investigation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, carried unanimously. All right, so now we can move on to the next complaint. This one is complaint number 2024-12. This is based on information filed by Clark County Councilors Gary Medvegey and Sue Marshall. Councilor Medvegey forwarded us an email that Clark County Citizens United sent to the councilors, alleging that Councilor Marshall should recuse herself from any activity involving a certain land use appeal because she has a conflict of interest. The Clark County Citizens United email is not directed to the commission, and it says that the Clark County Citizens United group is still researching potential conflicts of interest related to that appeal. Before we proceed, I want to point out that our procedures contemplate hearings at which the person who filed the complaint and the person who is the subject of the complaint appear and give testimony. And for that reason, it's very important that a complaint makes it very clear to us who the actual complainant is. That said, we've determined that we will construe Councilor Medvegey's message to us as a complaint by Councilor Medvegey. So in this one, for me, the allegations in the information that was sent to us suggest past conflicts, not current conflicts that Councilor Marshall has. And so I don't see any grounds to rule that that there's cause to warrant an investigation for this complaint. Other councilors, commissioners, sorry.
I would just like to add that although there may be an action which we would consider, I don't believe we've been given enough information by Councilor Medvegey to to proceed, then the complaint does not seem to come from the Clark County Citizens United. And that is not specific enough either. It just refers to, it's kind of a he said, she said, and that although they claim to have data.
I concur with both commissioners and would be willing to make a motion if you're ready for that.
Let's do it.
All right. I would like to move that there is not sufficient cause to warrant an investigation in this matter.
Does
Second.
anyone second the motion?
Second.
Okay, those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. So let's see, let's get our agenda back up here. That's it for that. So anything else for the good of the order?
I have nothing.
Mr. Chair, I understand that the county manager had some thoughts that she has based on comments from both one of the commissioners and from a member of the public.
Okay. We can hear
Yes,
that.
so I have received some feedback regarding the special meetings that we're having and why are we having special meetings? And I heard this from a commissioner when we have quarterly meetings already scheduled, and I know it's difficult to schedule those meetings. And then on the flip side, the public's going, why isn't it as timely as they would like to see it? And it comes down to what's in your current business process, which there is a timeline in which we will do the initial review and present that to the commission, which is quicker than your quarterly meetings. So depending on what the commission would like to do, we can add additional meetings or simply update the bylaws and take out those initial timelines and just simply say that it will be reviewed at the next scheduled quarterly meeting for the commission.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that too, and I think at this point, we were doing the special meetings originally because we had a backlog. And I think at this point, we could probably go to the quarterly meetings and amend the bylaws. What do the other commissioners think?
The quarterly meetings, I believe, are already in the bylaws, so we wouldn't have to amend them. Or you're saying amend them to include more? I'm confused.
I think it would be to clarify the timeline, because I think the way they are currently written, we have a faster timeline than would be allowed by quarterly meetings. So we either
That
need
is
to do-
correct. So in accordance, and I don't know if staff wants to pull up the business process, but it has on there that within 15 business days of receiving the complaint, the HR director will provide an overview of the complaint and initial determination memo and to the commission in executive session. Of course, 15 business days could fall any time between your quarterly meetings, which is where we're running into that hiccup.
Right. Right.
I think that this is Chris Cook. I think that what we have seen is that 15 days is not actually adequate for the HR director to conduct the initial preliminary investigation, let alone to find a date that works for the commissioners and essential staff. So that appears to have been a great aspiration that we have been unable to meet.
Presumably then quarterly meetings would be, if we change the timeline to that, that would be enough time for the county?
Depending on when the complaint is received.
Yeah, right.
Truly.
Well, I think you're also saying they need more than 15 days to process this and get the information to us. Chris?
No, this is Laura, the HR director. I would say 15 days is sufficient for me to do my initial review. I think the challenging piece here is that because it's saying I have to present it in executive session to the commission within that 15-day window as well, that's where the challenge becomes, because it's very hard to find, with everybody's calendars, to get that special meeting scheduled. So again, as Kathleen had stated, we want to be able to review these timely and have you guys have that initial review with me in executive session timely. But 15 days just, it's not attainable at this point.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Do we need it to be an executive session, or can we just get the information?
This sort of information is exempted from the Open Public Meetings Act because it deals with people's reputations, it deals with private information, it deals with matters that, if, for example, there isn't grounds for a complaint, but nonetheless, the entire matter is released perhaps prematurely, there could be damage there could be reputational harm to the people involved.
Yeah, we don't want that. So
No.
I think what we might need to do is to have, at our next meeting, have an agenda item for considering amendments to the bylaws. And it sounds like they're going to take some thought to kind of figure out how to set up timelines that will work probably with our quarterly meetings. And then there'd be a cutoff, we'll consider complaints filed maybe a month before our quarterly meeting.
Right.
If they're filed after that, then they get kicked down to the next meeting. But I think we'll probably need some time to look over the bylaws again and figure out how to make those changes. Does that sound right to everybody? And
Sounds good.
okay. It's a good time for us to review those anyway. In fact, why don't we go ahead and plan on reviewing both the bylaws and the business procedure, just to kind of refamiliarize ourselves with both and make sure that everything's fitting together.
And just so that you're clear, that this timeline is in the business procedures.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order?
No?
Thing.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Turkey Day next week. Turkey Week, however long you stretch it out. I stretch mine out as long as I possibly can. So.
So do we.
Into January, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
You
Thanks
have
very
a
much.
good holiday
everybody.
season.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.